Hey, this is Scotty, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about the differences between JavaScript and TypeScript, and how TypeScript can make our code bases cleaner, safer, and easier to manage. So on the screen, I'm inside of a JavaScript file. I have two variables that have binding keywords of let, and they are being assigned a number 28 and a boolean true. Now, what dynamically mean is that when I execute this program, I can reassign values to age and is logged in, but those values can have different types. So they can be changed, they can be dynamic. And I do so in this program. I have on line 10, 28 as a string, and I have false as a string. So those data types are changing within these variables. Now, before I run this program, I also want to introduce two concepts that will help us understand and see real time what dynamically typed is. So on line 7, I have a comma here, and this comma allows us to print two things within our console log. I don't think I've shown you guys a comma yet, so I just wanted to make sure I noted that. The second concept is typeof. Now, typeof is an operator that is provided to us from JavaScript, and what typeof does is it returns a string, and that string tells us what data type the variable is that we are asking. In this case, we are asking what the type of age. Now, what we'll see in this console log is we'll see 28 print, and we will see number print, because currently this 28 has a data type of a number. Now it is logged in, we should see true, and we should see boolean be printed. Down here on line 10, we are reassigning those values, and those new values have new data types. So down here in these console logs, we should see 28, and we should see string. Is logged in should be false, and we should see string. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. Node JavaScript. And we can see that these things are printed as we expected. Here's the issue. We don't have any protections on our variables if we do assign new values that have new data types. This is a problem because different data types have different operations that we can apply to them. And I'm going to show you with a quick live coding example. We have age equals 28. We're reassigning it a string of 25. So what happens when we want to add 5? Well, I'm going to go ahead and create a new variable, and we're going to call it let score equal 22. And scroll down here, and I'm going to reassign score to be 23 plus 5. I'm also going to add 5, the string up here. I'm going to save, and I'm going to go ahead and console.log. And just for keepsake, I will log the data type of score. So now I'm going to go ahead and run node JavaScript, and I'm going to scroll down, and we can see that we have 28 number, true boolean, and look at this. We have 25, actually we have 255, it's a string, and we have 28 number. So we can see that the data up here, the number and the value, we have appropriately applied the correct operator, 23 plus 5 equals 28. But up here, we've actually concatenated a string. And what we've done is we converted this 5 here, this number, into a string, and we've added it to the 25. So now we have 255 on age. So this is the kind of problem we can run into when we're dealing with variables that can be dynamic. This is where TypeScript comes into play. Now, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. That means when TypeScript compiles and a code is executed, JavaScript is actually being executed and JavaScript is running. But TypeScript adds annotations and it adds type checking for us so that when we're developing, we can see if we're assigning different data types to variables that have already been assigned. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this TypeScript file here, and we can see a couple of the things that I'm talking about. We have 3 variables. We have a const, a let, and we have username, age, and is logged in. Now, what we see here is some new code, and we have a colon, and we have a string. So this essentially is an annotation, and annotations are very useful, but they're not strictly required, and I will explain that in a second. But this defines that TypeScript is a statically typed language. This means that when we assign this value, that has a data type of string into username, this variable's data type cannot be changed. The value can be changed, but the value always needs to have the data type of a string. And we can actually see that very quickly with some live coding. So I'm going to go ahead and write I'm not going to use username because username is const and that is binding and it's immutable. So we would still have an error. I'm going to use age, and age is going to equal to 25. And we can instantly see that we have a red squiggly line underneath age. And now it's telling us type string is not assignable to type number. So before we even execute the program, we're already being told that the assignment is an issue. This is really useful and really helpful because it's always great to catch problems in general as quickly as possible. So TypeScript helps us in this sense and helps us with types. Now I'm going to show you that this line up here, use type annotations, useful but not strictly required. We can actually remove this annotation here, and we can see that we're still getting this age type string is not assignable to type. That's because when we assign the value, this variable takes the data type from the very first value and it keeps it and it registers it, and it won't let you ever use a different data type. I like to use and make sure that annotations exist. Nope, we want number, so that when other developers are looking at the code I've written, they can quickly understand what data types variables have. So the key main takeaway from this video is that TypeScript helps us during development time to catch type errors and to make sure that our code bases are safer and easier to manage. In future videos, I will still be using some JavaScript files to explain certain concepts, but for the most part, I would like to use TypeScript moving forward so that you guys can make sure that your code bases are safe and fun to use. Thanks for listening, friends. Keep learning, keep building.